Did you get any advance notice? Did they say to you, go look up a cake recipe tonight? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because it looked as though you just spun it all out of your head.
Certain times in events that you would just be like, this is not possible, you're correct. It's not. If you think that I can make an opera cake, never making an opera cake in my life, you're delusional. Or you have a lot of faith in me, all right? The reason that I picked the opera cake is not to toot my horn, but I ran the analytics exceptionally quick on exactly how do I make this. And I knew they did not tell us that we were going to have a recipe. But I'm like, there's just no way that they're going to drop us, the imbeciles, down here and be like, make cake. Like, where do we go? Like, I don't do baking. Like, my mother's a world-class baker. She taught me a bunch of stuff right before we went. I can bang out a world-class pound cake. I can make a custard pie like nobody's business. I invented a pie crust. That literally blew Gordon Ramsay's mind. Like, I'm good at that, not baking an opera cake. So why I picked the opera cake is I thought these ovens are never working properly. They're temperamental, and in doing baking, I know that that is a major problem. When I'm doing savory, I can deal with these ovens not having enough pressure to push 6 burners and an oven because we got one propane tank. And like, I go over this the whole time. I'm like, the logistics of why these ovens aren't working properly is like, you got one propane tank, 6 burners, and an oven. It's not enough pressure. You have not enough PSI. Anyways, the opera cake took 6 minutes to bake the cake. The carrot cake was 45 minutes to bake the cake. So I'm sitting here pretty as heck knowing this cake takes 4 hours to do. You're at 30 minutes a layer, okay? Because you have to let it sit, like compress, so it's perfectly smooth. Then you like push it down a little bit, but you're like letting the natural gravity weight of the cake. Then the ganache. Whenever you do the ganache is going to set for an hour and a half, or you freeze blast it for 30 minutes. So I knew that there was going to be no time, no matter what I did, that ganache was going to just pull off the ring. Like I knew there was not enough time. If I got the cake in the freeze blast with 30 minutes to spare, which you can't make the cake in 30 minutes, then I would literally been able to freeze blast it. So when Bree is doing her carrot cake for 45 minutes and can't do it, I've already got my cake baked. I just made a French meringue, which is the hardest thing to do that you can do in pastry. That is, you're taking 200 and something degree sugar and pouring it straight into eggs. It's tough because if you get too much, too little, the sugar, like it'll split and then you're messed up. And then one time I had that happen later down the road when I was doing the macarons, and I threw it in the freeze blast and then started hitting it with butter and it pulled it back together because I didn't want to restart it. But like that knowing that I thought that we possibly were going to be able to get a recipe was one of those like play that card. Like, okay, they said the opera cake is the hardest one. Got it. I'm going to go for the hardest one, naturally. So the best thing about that is that a couple people went with some simple stuff. Sherry's cake was the best cake I've ever seen in my life. On record, Sherry's cake was the best. Like, it was better than the cake that they gave her. Sherry's a master baker, and she got messed over on that one. Like, her cake was like epically good. Mine tasted incredible because I'll always be able to taste it and figure it out. Of course, the looks, the aesthetics were but when Gordon came over, it just didn't have enough time. Like I said, I need the time. I can't change physics. I can't make it go faster. So when Gordon came over, he's chuckling, and he's like, Noah, come here. I'm like, what's up, Chef? He's like, let me tell you something. Me, Ron, Joe, before this, we said, who's going to be going for the opera cake? Everyone without question said, Noah, no question's going to go for the opera cake. It's like, hey, good one, Chef, outstanding. So that was pretty cool because a lot of other times there was no recipes. Like we did the macarons the day before trying them out. Sherry's, of course, she makes, again, we're talking about Sherry again, literally the best macarons in the world. Like hers, she makes trays. Like she made 180 last night, they're already sold. Before she gets them in the store, they're sold out. Like they are the best that there is. So of course hers were everybody's favorite. Mine were they're all right. right? But you know, the recipe wise, there was not like some people think, oh, were y'all doing recipes all the time? No, there was not. I mean, I don't do recipes at home. I have literally 100 cookbooks. I don't do recipes. Like I like to just wing it and go with it. That's how my mom cooks. Is just, what's in this, Mom? Well, this, yeah, maybe a little bit of that. My dad's like, damn it, Ann, like this is the best meatloaf ever. When can you have it ever again? Like, you know. So, you know, so recipes, like I said, yeah, sometimes they did, but I'm not a recipe guy. But the cake one was 100% because I had absolutely zero clue what I was doing.